Our next story is about oil, the liquid black gold that fuels all our lives. Oil prices have been falling for a few days, and yesterday they received another downward jolt because OPEC Plus decided to increase supplies. Crude oil is now trading at a 6-month low, which means that the price at your petrol pump may start going down. So how did this happen? To understand that, we need some context, starting with OPEC. As you may know, OPEC stands for the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. It is a cartel led by major oil exporters like Saudi Arabia. OPEC currently has 12 members and they produce about 38% of the world's oil. That is OPEC. We are talking about OPEC Plus. This is an expanded group, basically the oil cartel and friends. Those friends include Russia, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Brazil and others. The most important to note for now is Russia. In 2022, Russia began the war in Ukraine. The West imposed sanctions on Russian oil. This dented Russian oil exports, and after a while, Russia felt the pinch. Then in 2023, some OPEC Plus members decided to cut oil output further. Not all members, just some of them, including Russia, Saudi Arabia and Iraq. They cut the output. Together, they slashed oil output by 2.2 million barrels per day. That was about 2% of the world's oil supply. It was reduced by 2%. This, of course, caused prices to surge. But why would OPEC Plus do such a thing? Because it made sense for some countries, chiefly Russia. Sanctions had hit Russian exports. It was selling less oil. So when prices went up, Russia could make more money by selling less oil. This sounds like artificially manipulating prices, and that's exactly what it was, because that is what cartels do. And OPEC Plus is no different. It lowered oil supplies to increase prices and raked in the profits. And it kept doing this over the past few years. It kept oil prices artificially inflated by intentionally lowering supplies. But now the cartel is planning to increase production again, to increase supply, starting from April. They will increase oil output slowly for about 18 months, they say, eventually going back to 2022 levels. And this decision was announced yesterday, and the news caused oil prices to tank. So the question is, why is OPEC Plus doing it? Because of, and I'm quoting, healthy market fundamentals and the positive market outlook. That is what the group has said. That is their reason. But you should take that with a pinch of salt. At the beginning of this story, I said that oil prices had been falling for days. Even before the OPEC announcement, the prices were falling, and they had been falling for a number of reasons. I'll list out some of them. Last month, the International Energy Agency made a prediction. It said that global oil supplies would exceed demand this year. There will be more supply than demand. So even if they did not ramp up production, oil supplies would have exceeded demand. That is one factor. Factor number 2 is Donald Trump's trade war. He is imposing tariffs. China, Mexico and Canada have already been hit. Others will be hit next month. And this will hurt global economic activity. And that means less demand for oil, because if people are not shipping as many goods, they don't need as much oil. That is the second reason why oil prices are contracting. And there were other reasons as well, like the global transition to electric vehicles. And indiscipline within OPEC Plus, with cartel members not adhering to their quotas. So demand is down and supply is high. And this is why oil prices have been falling. The OPEC Plus members have already been holding back production. Lowering it further would mean giving way to other oil exporting nations. Instead of risking that, they decided to boost production, to claw back some of their lost market share. That is one explanation. The second is Donald Trump. He had earlier asked Saudi Arabia to increase production. A few years back, when Joe Biden asked Saudi Arabia to increase production, he even flew down to Riyadh to plead with them. They rejected the American request. But Trump has a better equation with the Crown Prince. Plus, they may not want the headache of Trump's threats. So whatever the reason, the Saudis complied. Then there's the Russian angle. Reports say Trump is planning to ease sanctions on Russia to allow it to export more oil. If that happens, Russia will want to increase sales. So every way you look at it, increasing production made sense. And that's what OPEC Plus has decided to do.
Merci beaucoup. Hi. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically, in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs. And that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.